Hey, it's Liz from Blue and Hazel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you our curriculum picks for the 2022-2023 year. And we are homeschooling a third grader, a second grader, and a kindergartner. So this is my first year doing 3 kids at home doing official school. And so with a baby who's 1 and crawling and wants to sit right on top of the schoolwork. So it's going to be interesting. But we can do it, and I just want to show you what we're using and a little bit about why I picked it. If you have any questions at the end or want to see in-depth look in a book, just let me know in the comments, and then be sure to like and subscribe for more homeschool videos if you enjoyed this. All right, so let's go ahead and peek at what we're going to be using with my kindergartner. He is going to be doing just 2 subjects and the rest kind of just soaking in whatever he hears throughout the day. So our big thing for him this year is we're going to start the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. I'm kind of hesitant to try anything else, mainly because this works and it's kind of sometimes gets dry, and about halfway through the lessons get really long. So we chunk them into half, and instead of 100 days, I'd say this only takes us a year. We go pretty slowly. I chose for his math this year, this is the only other official thing we're doing with him, to do Kate Snow's Math with Confidence kindergarten. And so this is my first year using the kindergarten version, but I used it last year with my first grader, the first grade one, and I just really enjoyed how simple it was to follow and tons of games. It's a very parent-led, hands-on curriculum. She's developing the curriculum up through 6th grade. So right now there's a kindergarten, a first, and a second grade. And my daughter is doing the 2nd grade. So what you will order when you get this is you'll get the kindergarten student workbook here, and then the instructor's guide. And one thing to just note about this particular curriculum, there are not very many papers in the kindergarten workbook. And so there's most of what you're going to be doing is from this book here. So it's going to be a lot of getting out manipulatives and playing games and showing visuals. And then this here is going to be for kindergarten level, just 1 page a day. Pretty short. I feel like we've done a little bit, and my kindergartner is wanting to do more worksheets than what's in here, so I'm not sure how we'll adjust that for him. So that's all for him. And then moving on to my 2nd grader, for her math, I also am doing Kate Snow's Math with Confidence, and we did it last year for the 1st grade, and I just really liked it. And once again, there's going to be more in the home instructor's guide. You can see why I think it's a bad idea to buy the digital version, because that is a ton of paper to print. It often goes on sale, so I think new, this is around $55 or something, and I got ours on sale at Rainbow Resources for $35, this exact set. Last year I got her 1st grade version on sale at Amazon for the same. I think even at full price it's a steal, because this is the entire year. And so the student workbook, I'll kind of just give you an idea. They do, from 1st and 2nd grade level, they do a front page, which is new, back page review. Front page new, back page will be review. And I think that first little week or 2 is going to be mostly review, and then it kind of kicks up. Just to kind of give you a look at the inside, one of the things I love about this curriculum is that the instructor's guide is scripted. Anything that's in bold is going to be what you say, and then possible answers will be below it. And I like that there's pictures of how you're supposed to set up cards and things like that. Yeah, so in addition to her math, she's going to be doing history and science, handwriting and writing and spelling, along with my 3rd grader. So my 2nd and 3rd grader are going to basically be doing all of the rest of the subjects together. They'll be on slightly different levels for some things, and I'll kind of explain more of that. But in other ways, they're actually quite similar in their abilities. When we get to those subjects, just know if I don't point it out that they're doing those subjects together. For my 3rd graders math, we have gone with Singapore and we're doing the new 2022 version. We did use the US edition our first year before they came out with this, and I just really like that. I like the setup of this better inside. I can link a video that I have already for you if you'd like, of just some of the differences that I noticed in the instructor's guide, but this has been a great fit for us last year, so I'll just keep going with it. Just to note what a whole year is, we're starting my third grader at 2B, and so he'll do 2B and 3A, and then you can see this is one semester here, and this is a second semester here. So it's a lot of math books, but this is a year. And then one thing to note is that the red books are going to be reusable if you have other kids coming down the line. Not for me if we use Math with Confidence, but I'm kind of on the fence if we want to do Math with Confidence all the way through 6th grade, or if we want to switch them over to primary. And it's not because I don't really like Math with Confidence, but more just because that might streamline my day a little bit if I know exactly how it's presented and it's one curriculum for all the kids, but I'm not decided about that yet. And then these 4 books, a green and a kind of orangish color, would be consumable. You'd have to buy for each new kid at each new level. And the only one that you have to buy is the student book, and it's always gonna be green. And this one that I got that's orange is actually supplemental. And it's called Mastery and Beyond, and they have one of these for each of the levels that you do. And inside of Mastery and Beyond, it's basically like a spiral review. So every so often it'll have a chance for you to say, go ahead and do the Mastery and Beyond now. Say that you finish, X amount of lessons, then you would do one of these either in addition to math or instead of the math that you were gonna do. And this would be like the review of what you've covered in the last however many days, like a week or whatever. So we're gonna try this. If it feels like it's too much or not necessary, or if he's grasping it fine, we might just skip it. But I just liked knowing that I got it if we needed it, and that it was here and usable, especially since Singapore recommends, at a minimum, they recommend you have the student book and the home instructor's guide and Mastery and Beyond. There's another one that I decided not to get called Additional Practice, and that's like every day that you do your math, there's exactly the same type of problems, but more of them, and I just felt like that's a lot of math. And now for the subjects that we'll be doing together, which I'm really excited for this part of our homeschool. I love being able to do homeschool subjects together. It saves me time. We can all kind of enjoy it together. We can talk about it together. I want to show you what we're doing for language arts here. This is a program we used last year called the DART program by Brave Writer, and I love it so much. So it's a literature-based program. This is not all we do for the year, but this would be right here 1 month. And it's a book, like a book guide, where you read one book, and it's recommended like 4 weeks or so. So I got this from the library. In here, as you read the book, you'll also be covering each week grammar, you'll be covering copywork, different types of dictation, and I will link our video below of exactly how we do the DART, what's inside of it, and how we schedule it out, because that's just a little, this is a new type of language arts probably than you're used to. If you came from something where it says day 1 do this, day 2 this worksheet, day 3 this worksheet, this curriculum actually has no worksheet. A lot of it's done orally, and then we use just a notebook, like a dollar notebook, to write our copywork in and stuff. And then at the end you get to do a book party. So if you want to know more about the DART, or you're intrigued, go in the description, click my video, and I will tell you all about it. But we love this because this is 1 month with one book. There will be probably, I'm guessing we're gonna get through about 6 of them. That's what we did last year. You can do as many as you want. We just comfortably got through about 6. So I got a few other ones ready to go. Skunk and Badger is on my list. The DARTs are recommended for, I think, 8 to 10-year-olds or so. So this will be one, Encyclopedia Brown, Boy Detective. I got this one, Year of the Dog, and these come only as digital, so you'll have to print and bind. I also was going to play around with trying out the next level in age up, because I had heard like it's fine to adjust what's inside or to decrease the amount of copy work from the older age books. You can see this is called an arrow, and this is for the next age bracket. And so I just thought, because we would love to read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and have a literature guide to go along with it, I will report back if that's how we adjust it to bring it down to their ages. If you go the route of doing Brave Rider darts or arrows or whatever, I'd recommend just buying one or two at a time and then seeing what books interest you. Like, she lets you buy a whole year at one time, but I feel like then you can't choose the books that you want. So if you just go and buy like a literature single, then you can choose exactly which books you want, especially if you don't have time like me to do all of them. For writing, this is also from Brave Writer. We did Jot It Down last year. It was so fun. It was very relaxed way, taught me how to teach them to really bring their words and ideas onto paper, and had little writing projects for them. Partnership in writing is for the next level up, and this says ages 9 to 10, and we've just started it, but I love it so far, and I've looked through here, it looks awesome, but there's going to be like month-long writing projects in here. The first one that we've kind of hopped into is this secret coding one, and my plan is we'll do this once a week. If it takes maybe 2 days, we can draw it out, but I probably will schedule it in once a week. But basically the kids got to make their own code letter by switching out some, for this first project, by switching out some words for symbols, and then they learned how to make their own key of the symbols here. The idea with this is that they're going to be writing a little bit more, and they're all fun projects that require handwriting and require creative writing. So this would be separate from our like language arts dart, because there's not really any creative writing happening with that. The next thing I wanted to show you we'll be doing is Handwriting Without Tears. Went awesome last year, so we're gonna keep going with that throughout the levels. I can also link my Handwriting Without Tears video that shows you how to choose a level, because I found that to be really hard to know which level to start them on. We started with a year behind, and they went really fast, kind of covered some of the basics, and then caught up to where they slowed down to about a page or two a day. That was perfect. So this is what they're finishing up from last year, and the next one is called Kickoff to Cursive. So that's going to be our first introduction to cursive, and that's supposedly the 3rd grade level, which is kind of spot on to where both my kids are right now. But I'll show you a few pages from the 2nd grade level that is kind of fun just to see. Here's kind of the beginning, page 37. There's always going to be some games, lots of copy work involved, lots of paying attention to, did you start it with a capital, did you end it with correct punctuation, a paragraph, and we're getting to the end here. So that's the end of that 2nd grade book, and we'll start the cursive soon. This is a pretty independent activity. And then there's some things where my 7-year-old, there'll be instructions where it will involve just a little bit of like a new language arts concept she doesn't know. And so she'll ask me for help. But for the most part, it's very, you can do this on your own while I'm working with another kid. For history, I'll just dive into that next. We are going to make a shift this year. Last year, we used America's Story 1 as a read aloud. So no worksheets, I didn't get the teacher's guide. I literally just flipped through this last year and read like maybe 2 pages every time I'd sit down on the couch and read. It was so fun. I actually really liked it, and I sometimes am wondering why I'm not continuing on, because it was so simple. Just read from the couch, talk about it, ask questions, and we were learning a lot. So why I'm switching, I don't know. We might come back to this, but I found Gather Round's US history, and so it looked so beautiful. It just caught my eye, and I heard way too many good things about it that I was reading, and it just really struck me, and I wanted to try it. I just had to try it. It's pretty similar as far as being a read aloud. It's pretty similar to master books that I'm just gonna be reading this from the couch. And so it has 20 lessons in here, and if we do, I think I'm planning to do history probably 2 to 3 times a week right now. We'll probably finish one of these, I'm guessing, in about 2 months. That'd probably be on the longer-ish end. So I'm planning on getting through 3 units. So we have 1 US history, 2, these are the teacher's guides, and then US history 3. And we use the ProClick binders. I have a video on that I can put in the description for you too. But much more economical to do the digital print and bind yourself. Each of the kiddos has their own level of workbook that they do kind of during and after my reading time. And so my 7-year-old, my 7.5-year-old, I guess now, she is a 2nd grader, and she is going to be doing the early reader. My almost 9-year-old is going to be doing the level called early elementary. So there's kind of an age range that they recommend you look at, but more or less what it is it's just looking at their ability levels. Like in the early elementary versus early reader, my older child is going to be writing in a lot of the answers, whereas the early reader, she's going to be doing more like cutting and pasting in, or circle the picture that, matches this answer, whereas he would do a lot more writing. This can be for your whole family. So you can go all the way up through high school if you have big kids, and their work in their individual levels are just gonna be different. I opted not to get my kindergartner one of these. There was a lower version that I could have gotten him, but I kind of feel like that would be all me having to do that and work with him because he can't read it, and Mom, what do I do? And he's just happy to go play Legos right now. So if he hears me reading out loud, great. If not, I just didn't really want to mess with having to force him to do some worksheets or to do them for him. It just didn't make any sense. So far, I really like it. Whoever wrote this particular one has a different voice than the voice from last year's America's Story. So they're both kind of reading to you, teaching it to you, but it's a different flow. And so I'm figuring out if we like that. One other thing that I don't have here, it's coming today in the mail, is all about spelling. And so all about spelling is something I've just thought about. I've had my eye on for a long time. And for me, spelling is something that's really secondary to reading. I wanna have a good reader before I have a good speller, or even waste a minute of time thinking about spelling. And so my 3rd grader, I think, is at the point where he kind of would benefit from knowing some spelling rules. And I don't really remember the spelling rules personally, so I just know if it looks right or not. Well, this will be really fun for us to do, and I don't know how many days a week I'm gonna do all about spelling yet. We're gonna have to figure out a system because right now we're in total trial and error with 3 kids. I have a 1-year-old who's, when he's awake, it's like he wants to sit on our books and he wants to be on Mom, and it's just really hard. So we're gonna figure out kind of how to do a schedule so I'm not as scatterbrained in figuring out who to do when, and so that they can kind of know when they're done for the day. Oh, yes, and for All About Spelling, we actually did decide to go to level 1. So I've read a lot of reviews online, and they said even if you're starting with a 3rd grader or a 4th grader or a 5th grader, just go back to level 1 because they cover a ton of rules, and then once you've kind of mastered those and flown through them, you can go up until you slow down. So we decided to follow that advice and go back to level 1. The last thing I wanted to show you, which I'm super excited about, is the Gather Round unit for Botany. This is just a curriculum I'm drawn to. I love the family style teaching of Gather Round, and it just something we can all learn together. But I feel like this is going to be kind of the perfect integration with my desire to have a study nature study in our homeschool. We've used Exploring Nature with Children. I love this. I highly recommend this. It's a week-by-week study, and it gives you book lists and activity ideas, and then you can just read from it and learn about that subject, from trees to mushrooms to moss to fungi. But I wanted something different just to peek at and change up some stuff because I love doing that. I get a little bored, and this just looked perfect. So it's beautiful, and each of the kids will have their own workbook at their age level or ability level. But yeah, the pictures are beautiful, and there's going to be a lot of anatomy that we're going to look at, what things do. There's going to be some experiments in here. Yeah, we can go as slow or as fast as we want with this. I don't know if this would be, like some people who use Gather Round would use this for 1 month, and then they would do only this plus math, because that's kind of what its claim to fame is like just this plus math for your whole family. And I don't know if we'll use it like that, or if we'll just use it like, you know, once a week we do nature study and this lasts us like all year. I don't know. So it just looked beautiful, and I want to have nature study in our homeschool always. So trying that out. For science, last year we didn't really do any official science. We mostly just followed our interests, ton of nature study, just by being outside, and by the Seek app. I highly recommend the Seek app, SEEK. It's a nature identification app, and so you scan pictures of things and it tells you what it is, and then we would Google more about it if we wanted to know. It was just so fun. And so that was really what we did for science last year, was just being outside and learning more about what's around us, what things are called, animals, bugs, you know, plants, all sorts of things. This year, I actually bought this for last year. This is from Master Books. I don't know if you can see that, but we have plants for beginners, flowering plants and seeds, roots and stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, unusual plants, body overview, bones and muscles, nerves and senses, digestion, heart and lungs, skin and immunity, mammals, birds and fish, amphibians, reptiles, arthropods. There's a lot of topics. The pages are really short. This one is called Life for Beginners. If you want a little more advanced, in-depth study of all of these types of subjects, get the one that just says like life, not with for beginners. So this is probably going to be a little too surfacey and easy for my big, maybe my two bigs, but we'll just use it as a springboard. And my thought is I'll just probably alternate history, science kind of blocks. So we will do one day, one the other, one day, one the other. And so that would be like our nature study. That would be the botany unit here. And then possibly some pages from here. So just to give you an idea of what's inside, this would be a lesson. It's very, very short. This would be the lesson. Yeah, you can just kind of see the lesson is going to be very short. Right here, right here. It is a Christian company, so you will find references to the Bible inside of it, and all of it is looking at creation through the Bible. So I really like that. There's going to be some activities you might want to make copies of if you have more than one kid. My third grader loves to read, and he really loves science comics, and so that's kind of been his solo time reading, and I feel like he's learning so much in regards to science that I'm not really like caring if we do a lot of official science curriculum, but I feel like this will especially benefit the family style learning of like third, second, and kindergarten. Anyways, that's what our plan is for the year. And it's a lot. When I look at all the books, I think, oh my goodness, that's a lot. But I also know that it's split into, you know, semesters like math, and then it's also split into weeks, and then some subjects will rotate every other day, like history and science. We're not going to do all of those every day. So if you want to hear more about like what a week looks like and how we actually are planning on organizing our routine, I'd be happy to make a video for that. So let me know in the comments if you'd like that. All right, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more homeschool videos. I really hope this helps you, and we'll see you next time.